Hey guys, welcome back to some Raid Shadow Legends. Today's video, we're going to be looking at the game itself, and I did drop a few promo links that are down in there. So Raid has a really big thing. When you go ahead and you use some of those links, you get a lot of legendary champions as well as some codes, some promotions for having other players play Raid. So it is pretty cool that it is kind of reciprocal, where I get rewards, you get rewards if you do join the game. And overall, still playing AFK Arena, absolutely love the game, but Raid is very cool. We've been playing this, and we are right at the 30-day mark, which gives us a free champion. So right here, guys, we do get High Katoon. That is a brand new champion that we are picking up today at the 30-day mark. You get 60, 90, 120, 150, 210. I mean, they're looking at almost the entire first year. You get daily login rewards. Now, I want to draw in this live stream. Again, if you got questions, drop them in. But I wanted to cover kind of what we're seeing and things that we could incorporate into AFK Arena that Raid does well. And I know vice versa for a lot of different things. Now, of course, when we start thinking of quests, this is something that I loved and that I really love that they focus on is we have the daily quests, which roll up to weeklies, which roll up to monthlies. So once I go through here and I finish out the dailies, we'll get a couple of our gems up here, but then that'll roll into the monthlies, and that will roll into more rewards. That'll roll into more summons. Then the monthlies go into additional summons. Now, void shards, sacred shards are very, very high priority within Raid. And when you get into this game, you only need one copy of a hero. There is a way, if you do get multiple copies, that you can use the copies, but overall, you do get one copies. Now, once you get to a certain point, you unlock all of the advanced quests. Now, again, this is something that I would love to see in some other games. Advanced quests give you a lot of different rewards for going and doing tasks. So it's almost like a daily event on steroids. You can see this resets in 22 hours. We just literally reset this, but there are a lot of different ways to earn rewards in here, which would be super beneficial to building up those champions. And we have said this for the 6 years that we have played AFK Arena. It is about the consistent and constant progression towards a goal, the advancement of your heroes, the advancement of their gear, their advancement overall when it comes to building this out. Raid Shadow Legends, what's the game? It is very similar, Soul, but it has a lot of parts that do incredibly well, which again, when we start thinking of AFK Arena, and one of the biggest things that they do so well that I absolutely do love, that I wish, and again, fingers crossed, we know 6th anniversary for AFK Arena is going on, but the clan functionality. So when it comes to the clan, we have talked about, and I feel like we have really beaten the dead horse when it comes to clans, and when it comes to the ability for players to build and really grow together. Even clans here, they go all the way up to, I believe it is level 30 at this point. They added more clan levels a while ago, but you can see with members in there being active, ranking within all of the clans itself. Then they have clan quests. Now, again, this is something that I've always talked about, that we've always needed within AFK Arena. The ability to complete clan quests, offer you and build up your clan XP. Clan XP will level up the clan. The clan, depending on where you are, gives bonuses. So as you're going in here, you earn more things from everything within here. So even when you go to, I believe it's might be clan offers up here, or it might be info, but it shows right here benefits. So depending on your clan level, which again, this could be incorporated into other games just as easy. Extra silver, extra multi-battles, number of clan slots, weekly clan quests, going all the way up to clan level 30 right down here, which again, very, very well poised, very well put together when it comes to the ability to build out the clan, working with other team members. And they have a lot of clan events, which again, I kind of want to look over, because I'm pretty impressed with Raid. Honestly, with Raid being around 6 years, AFK Arena being 6 years, they were only released, I think it was like 2 weeks apart, which is kind of crazy. Hero Swap came out on AFK Arena. Oh, I'm going to have to check it. Yeah, I'm going to have to do the video after this one for the Hero Swap. I know I've seen a lot of questions about it, but we want to break this down, and I know I want to do a raid. So overall, here you get free rewards. Again, you get mystery shards. You get some of your ancient shards. They also give you packs in here where you get free gifts. The gifts yield you energy. So just like getting stamina, getting energy out of here every single day, which goes in, builds up the stamina, and builds up all of the champions that we have in Raid. They have a mini game that's going on right now that is giving us sets. Now, again, when we think of AFK Arena, when we look at, tier 1, 2, 3, and 4, look at the artifacts in here, or really the gear that they have in here. It is crazy. It is absolutely crazy with the gear that they have in here. Not only the ability to go through, get different pieces or different pieces of artifacts, they call them in here, but different pieces going through here. Each set has its own set bonus, so you can kind of pick and choose what you want to build. Then you can upgrade it based on what you want to use. It goes all the way up to level 16. You can enchant it further by adding these glyphs on it. You can rework it if you're not happy with the stats. Then you can also ascend the gear. Again, thinking of the basis of where everybody has just tier 3, tier 4 gear within AFK Arena, you have the ability to supercharge or build up gear a lot further in here, or your artifacts in here. Then they also do have accessories. So thinking of, different parts of a game, they have all of the different factions in here, and they have all of the accessories. You have a ring, you have an amulet, you also do have a banner, depending on your champions. And then, of course, looking at the champions themselves, you talk about some really crazy 3D rendering. When it comes to battle in this game, it's not the flat screen. It's not what we're seeing, just kind of the pictures being displayed on there. It is really, really cool how you see and how the battle. And I want to go in here and I want to do a guild boss. So we just joined a very new, very active guild. So clan bosses in here. We have 3 clan bosses, a little bit better than Riz and Soren when we're coming out of here, because when it comes in here, you can see, boom, right here, guys, you can see we have a ton of different ones. A lot of people to play this game, they stop complaining about how AFK Arena is. Honestly, AFK Arena, there's so much opportunity. And that's really one of the big things, Dale, is when it comes to opportunity, when it comes to the ability for them to fix the game, for them to do things right, it's kind of crazy. Now in here, I only work on and I only am doing free to play. I am saying 100% free to play in this game. I know very similar to AFK Arena is you could go ahead and you could pump a crazy amount of money into this game. Again, very similar to AFK Arena, you could put an absolute crazy amount of money. But again, thinking of if we had Riz and Soren, and then looking down here, if we had different levels in here, every different level we have in here offers different chests. Different chests offer different rewards. So the higher that you're building these out, and again, this is cumulative. When you start looking at all of the players within the guild that are fighting the exact same boss, trying to defeat the boss. Now, when we defeat a boss within here, it yields double reward. So it's very imperative to work together, working on formations, working on some of the champions itself, building this up and making sure that you are essentially, again, it's the consistent progression towards the goal of defeating the boss. I say this kind of over and over again, because that's what kind of keeps players in tune, especially when you look at some of the other members in here, when you create friendships, when you have a guild that is working together to go ahead and defeat the boss. And then, like I said, we have 3 bosses. We have the Chimera right here. Then we have the Hydra, which this goes, and there is a crazy amount of different formations, but also a whole different technical side of doing this to make sure that you're doing it and doing it well and scoring as high as you can. Because again, it is about being able to, as a clan, take down your entire bosses, and killing the boss in the entirety makes a big difference. Now, the other big thing that I wish they did something like this in AFK Arena is they have Clan Wars, which Clan Wars is on a regular rotation, just like we've seen before. But this also has Siege, guys. When you think of what they just built for AFK companions, the ability to essentially have a stronghold, which we have right back here, but you can go through, you can see the stronghold. I am in here, and it's funny because my avatar is a sheep. I'll explain that in just a minute. But looking in here is you can go ahead, you can build this out, and you move kind of location to location as you're blocking this, as you're building up these locations. It is a massive attack, kind of like a PvP phase, but it is against other guilds. So there will actually be another guild right here when we're sieging in here to go ahead and build this out. It's pretty interesting. I've tried Raid Shadow Legends, but too many duplicates said heroes. Too many 5 stars down the road. The 9 stars sent it to heroes. Yeah, and again, I played Idle Heroes. So that's another part, Dale, is I played Idle Heroes for a significant amount of time. Even when I was playing AFK Arena, I did play Idle Heroes. And you know what? It seems like this is a pretty good buffer game. that I'm not spending an absolute crazy amount of time going through all of the content in here. Still have more than enough time to play AFK Arena. And of course, AFK Arena, guys, is not going anywhere. But there are a couple things in here that, again, the incorporation of really things that they could do, the possibilities that we could see with other games is really, really a game changer. Guardian Ring, this is a part that I love. You just level up your heroes automatically. Thinking of Essence and AFK Arena and how difficult it is to get some experience, especially earlier game, this is just time. So over time, these champions are going to gain levels automatically, and it gets into a lot of depth. When you start looking at duplicate Guardians, they can go in for your faction Guardians. You can empower them with other copies, being able to put those +1s on there. You can even unbind champions, so literally killing the champion itself, the duplicate legendary champion, and swapping them for other champions. Now, looking at some of these, and I just want to kind of explain how this works. For instance, they just had an event that was with Alice. So this is Alice from Wonderland, and this was the event. They had the Mad Hatter in here. The cat is in here. Cheshire Cat. There are a few. Now, looking at Alice, I just got one copy of Alice. That is it. So when you get a copy of a champion, you have to build the champion up. So right here, upgrading the level, upgrading the rank, which does give us more stars. Now, 6 stars as of right now is the most you can get for stars. Skills, you can upgrade the skills with different totems, and then farming out resources to get and add more stars to her, because basically it goes from the yellow stars, as we see right here, then it moves on to those purple stars, which are the ascended levels, and then it goes into the awakened levels. So it's almost, if you think within the Ultra of Souls, you can get these awakened levels, building out and putting more red stars on here. So when you start thinking about the layers of really the champions or the heroes, you know, we have the signature items, which are going on there. You have the engraving, which is going on there. And then, of course, you have the furniture that's going on there. That is what I kind of almost translated it to by getting, you know, the yellow stars, the purple stars, the red stars. Very similar in the methodology behind building kind of the layers and layers up on the heroes. And there's even certain breakpoints where when you build them out, they get additional skills and abilities, very similar to what we see, again, with the engraving, with the with building out the furniture, with building out everything within these champions itself. And here you can just buy them. I love, and there is the Mad Hatter right here. It's pretty neat. So going through here, I've been saving all of my resources to wait and get some of the champions that I know I do have, which we just picked up. The one champion, which right here, Haikutun, is the one that we literally just picked out as an epic support champion in the Barbarian faction. Again, we're going to have to level this one up a little bit, because looking at the skills and abilities in AFK Arena, we got 4 skills. Here, depending on epic, we do have the 3 skills. Looking at legendary, they do have kind of the very similar formation. We have the 4 skills that are right there. Auras are specific to who your leader or who the first champion that you put in your formation is. And then the Brimstone, this comes from those red stars. You can actually buff up all of the skills and abilities that this champion has, including the stats based on those red stars that I just showed you guys a minute ago. So it is really cool. I want to hop in here. I want to do, again, a clan boss battle. Now, for me, again, we've been 30 days in here. So what we're trying to do at this point is looking right here, FHG raids. We did 8.66 million on normal. That puts us well over getting this Knight's Chest. So I'm not even going to worry about that. The Knight's Chest is done on normal. So going into hard, I don't think I've used any keys now. Literally just joined this guild a couple hours ago, and I'm going to put in Deacon, and I think I'm going to run him as speed. So first, this is our boss. And then looking at the graphics, guys, the graphics in here are kind of crazy. Again, thinking of the bosses that we see in the Curse Realm, Nightmare Corridor, and AFK Arena, it's kind of crazy. Don't they have 2 4 stars that have evolved into 5 stars? You have to use other heroes. Now, it's not incredibly hard to farm heroes. A lot of it is just farming up to build them up, yes, to get more stars. So when they start at 3 stars for rares, 4 stars for epic, 5 stars for legendary, you have to use multiple copies of lower level champions to get them up. So to get them to 6 stars. But once you do get them to 6 stars, that's it. You're done at that point when you do get them to 6 stars. And honestly, going through, and if you've seen some of the videos, if you've watched some of the content, going through with that sparring pit and through farming regularly, Dale, you can get 6-star champions every 7 days. So once a week, you can kind of get them. This game seems too much for me to learn, to be honest. Yeah, and honestly, Soul, it's completely and totally not going to be for everyone. I don't even know personally, how long I'm going to play Raid for. But I was looking for something to really substitute what we're not seeing or what we're not getting within AFK Arena, just for the simple fact that, I go in there, I do my dailies. We've been saving a lot of resources and definitely discouraged with the Draconic Heroes, just like everyone else. I gave a ton of feedback over on Discord about the Draconic Heroes, about the summons, about the cost, about the engraving, about also looking at the Ghoulish Gallery. I gave a ton of feedback over on Discord to pretty much people that work within Lilith itself. Haven't heard anything. Haven't heard nothing. It's been, unfortunately, absolutely crickets at this point. They haven't said, they haven't said anything as far as thank you for the feedback. We're going to take it under advisement. It has literally been nothing, unfortunately, Soul, that I have seen or that I have heard. And again, there was a point years ago where we would give feedback and a lot more conversation, a lot more in-depth kind of talking about it. Would have done. In AFK Arena, I'm doing dailies and have nothing to do after that. That's it. So he said it right there. Tapity. In AFK Arena, I do my dailies, nothing after that. That's the same thing. So I hop in there. I make sure, that I'm going through there. I'm making sure that I'm doing my dailies. I go through, the Curse Realm, the Nightmare Corridor, Treasure Scramble. Most of it's pretty auto. Even looking right now that we have, 1 or 2 events that are up. Even going in there, doing the Voyage of Wonder takes about 15 minutes. They're pretty easy to run through. But right now, it's almost that it's on a maintenance cycle when it comes to AFK Arena, because there isn't anything new and there's nothing that is incredibly challenging. And that, again, is kind of the part that I feel like me personally is missing when it comes to the game. Is we're not seeing as many players. We're seeing a lot of players, unfortunately, leaving AFK Arena. And even when we looked at the Heroes of Espria, that was incredibly difficult to get through when we went through there. So again, something to fill the time, something that I can go in, I can play, I can make some progression. I'm going to have to see exactly how it plays out. And I am a little bit concerned when it does come to AFK Arena and what exactly we're going to be seeing with the future of it, what it's going to hold, and what is the plans. I mean, Don made a lot of promises, made a lot of comments about what was going on, what we could see, what was coming, and yet we have seen nothing materialize. As of right now, I know, unfortunately, we have seen absolutely nothing that has materialized when it comes. When they bring in an event, they don't give out enough rewards. Yeah, one of the big things, Dale, yes, absolutely not enough rewards. The other one is when it comes to the event. So if you remember, and if you checked out the monster event that is coming up for the 6th anniversary, that is the same event that we did with Randall. That is the same event that we did when it was, I believe it was the light bearer. What's his name? I'm drawing a blank. But we seen that, and I believe we did it with Kren. I believe at this point with the 6th anniversary, it has been the same event, the same 6 or 7 zones that we've seen now. I want to say it's been 4 or 5 times that we've actually seen the exact same event, just broken into 6 or 7 little zones, going through kind of zone by zone. It was Oscar. Oscar was the first one with the light bearers. So again, even thinking of making a big impact for a 6th anniversary, they just used the reskinned event from the 5th anniversary, which was the reskinned event from the 4th anniversary. Again, I really, really hoped that it would have been bigger. I really hoped that they would have done a lot better in there. But they did. They went through and they just reskinned a lot of the exact same content again, which it's sad. It's sad for an anniversary, especially because, I mean, I literally joined Raid when the anniversary was going on, the 6th anniversary that was coming up for Raid. And the 6th anniversary here was actually pretty cool. And they offered, a few new champions. And even here, you talk about updates, guys. When it comes to news, when it comes to, everything that is here that is featured for versions, quality of life in here, and talking to a lot of other content creators that make content for Raid, a lot of different things, a lot of the news that comes in here with the new champions. They do a lot of quality of life. Even the 6th anniversary, they did a lot of quality of life. And for me, I had to bite my tongue. I had to think about it because when you look at the quality of life improvements that I've been looking for months, if not years, within AFK Arena, they did a lot and did a lot of changes for Raid, and they haven't done it for AFK Arena, which is sad. Upcoming event is they made skins for heroes. Yes. One, they made skins for heroes that already have skins. Absolutely, Dale. Second one is they made skins for heroes that people don't use. What is the point of making a skin for Tassie when no one uses Tassie? Tassie's not in formations. I mean, short of possibly if you're not auto going through the Wilder Tower, you might be able to go in there and run Tassie somewhere. But overall, when it comes to building it out, when it comes to going in there and having a skin on some of the meta heroes, having a skin on some of the heroes, essentially that I want to see in formations. They lock him behind a paywall. So Demia being used in formations right now, again, that is going to be a skin that you have to purchase if you do want to see it with Demia. But again, they lock the skins that have a lot more utility or a lot higher in the meta behind a paywall without having the ability to get them. And for me personally, I do not pay for any of the skins. I think I bought one through all the years, and then I earned one for free. So it was kind of sad just to see that we didn't have as much play, that we didn't have as much going through there and really building these out. Now in the champions right here, we are farming out the Minotaur. The Minotaur does yield us mastery scrolls. I have been farming mastery scrolls for a considerable amount of time. And going in here, this is the big bad boss that you have to kill to earn mastery scrolls, unlocking additional abilities for all of these champions through the addition of the mastery scrolls. So this, again, going through kind of little by little, farming this out. And I'm getting a lot better. I'm getting a lot better champions. I'm getting a lot better builds. I think I might have bought at least 6 skins. That's a lot, Dale. Now, for me, very similar to Raid is when it comes to avatar, when it comes to avatar frames, when it comes to champion skins, when it comes to anything within games. And literally, this is going back to World of Warcraft. This is going back to Ultima Online. All of the games that I've played, anything that does not improve my game performance, help progression, anything like that, I do not purchase. I do not purchase skins. I do not purchase avatar frames. Anything, again, that doesn't affect the gameplay or allow me to make more progression in a faster manner, I do not buy. And I will not buy at all. As much as I do put into games, absolutely will not buy any cosmetics. And I've never, literally in all of the years that I have played so many different games, cosmetics I will never buy. Things again that will unlock additional champions in here, that will unlock a lot of different things. Always, always, always. If it's free cosmetics, absolutely all about it. Love putting it on there. If it is anything that is something that you have to buy, absolutely no way. I will not buy it, and I refuse to buy it. In here, team formation, you can see we can take down the Minotaur pretty easy now because we do have Deacon Armstrong, which is right here. This is our leader. So this is the main champion in here, increasing speed of the entire team. That's the reason why we're attacking now. Very similar to AFK Arena with haste. Speed in Raid is the godsend. It is the part that literally you can cycle through all of your skills and abilities so fast, not even letting the enemy attack, because you are putting out so much speed. And again, it just almost kind of stands there. But when you start thinking, again, progression-wise, and how, right there, she got 12 scrolls, how many different areas there are, how many different bosses there are in here, so many dungeons. And then within the dungeons, we also have all of the different levels. And even within those levels, they do have hard mode as well, which is, again, a lot more difficult to get through. We're not even getting through all of these normal stages as it sits right now. But when you think about the ability to farm all of the content, looking for your artifacts, looking for the gear that you need in here, and of course, looking at building up your artifacts a little bit further with the oil, even in here, getting some essence again to add those ascended levels, and then a few in here, including being able to get those additional souls through the mortal soul coins. So boss-wise, this game's pretty legit. it is pretty legit when it comes to the bosses. Even here, tower rotations. So you can see we have the 5 different towers right here, the 4 different factions. And then we do have the arcane tower. So the void, the force, the keep, and the spirit. Those are on different rotations, open Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday. Have to make sure that you're farming them. And actually the void keep, I believe, is the one I have to farm, which I do. We were waiting for this to come out for a significant amount of time. I have to farm the void keep. Now, one of the biggest things within raid is going in here and doing the missions. So going in here and running through, you can see this is locked, but going in here, arena mission, campaign mission, all of the missions lead up to getting a free champion, which is legendary support, which is Arbiter right here. Then we go on to a second set of missions, which gives us a great, and again, as the graphics in here are crazy looking for these champions. And then the third mission that was released is giving us this kind of tank, almost he's a horse tank, which again, for the skinwalkers, pretty crazy looking on how the, and again, I think of like AFK Arena when I'm looking at the Awakened heroes, when I'm looking at everything that they have. The definition, the 3D rendering is pretty insane in this game on how it really looks. Now in here, we're waiting for void shards. We're waiting to do a couple more summons. I did a few yesterday, but going in here again, regular summons, mystery shards. These are something we use every single day. Pulling up your 1 stars, your 2 stars. Now these, of course, are very similar to what we see with our regular basics, you know, our epics, our legendaries. Building these out, we have the ability to get up to rare, but these are food that we have to level up and build to add other stars. And again, the 3D rendering on some of these is kind of crazy. Even when you look at like a Death Hound, it's pretty sick looking. Some of the actual evil parts that they have in here with some of the indexes. And I love some of the like the Undead Horde. They are just crazy looking. I mean, you have 2 death sickles right there. It is really cool to see these guys in combat. And of course, in this game, have a massive part that is PvP. So within the battle itself, again, with campaign dungeons, faction wars, this uses specific champions to go through different parts. So even looking in here, there are only very specific champions that we can utilize within this game mode. But then when we get into the arena, so there are 3 versions. So this is, again, something that I want to share PvP-wise. Classic Arena, which, of course, is just 4 versus 4. Very easy. Then we have the Tag Arena, which is 3 teams versus 3 teams. But then as we get to level 50, and I'm not there yet, this is going to be live. There have an arena that is live with other players in a live arena. Again, I think that is kind of awesome to see, which is cool. Already 2 versions of the Ogre Dude and 2 versions of the Ogre Dude. Yeah, there's a lot in here. Can you show 2 versions of the Bone Knight? Let me see if I can find him. So the Bone Knight, I think he's going to be in the Undead Horde. So the couple of these, like down here, I think this is like the Dead Crusader. Most of these are just food. So a lot of the common ones right down here, like Death Knight, I know he was in the commercial. So there is the Death Knight, guys. But most of the lower, like the common, the uncommon, even a couple of the rares, this game has a lot of utilization, Dale, when it comes to the rares. So when it actually comes to, now, I guess, uncommon, pretty much food. When it comes to rare champions within here, these are very, very imperative to have. There's a lot of events that are only utilizing rare heroes or only using epic heroes. And there's a lot of other places, including when you start going through some of that faction specific pieces. Even here, guys, the smoking half broken skull, that is really, really cool looking. But when, again, you start thinking about these, even there, we got some vampires in here. We got some craziness. But overall, when you start building these out higher and higher, the epic, again, there's a lot of game modes that only let you run epic champions. So you don't have the ability to run a lot of the rares or a lot of the legendaries. And then legendaries go up even higher. And then they do have the mythical heroes, which some of these, again, are kind of crazy. These are the top of the top. And you can see there's actually 2 different versions of the same hero, depending on which version they are. Almost like it's a Celestial and a Hypo combined, which again is really cool. So it just transforms into the other type, and it goes throughout combat, and they do the same. So even here, you know, you can go to the dark, kind of the undead version, the angel, which again, looking at the visuals in here, guys, it's incredible. It's incredible to see the visuals in here. It is a lot of fun to go through it. And then, of course, you know, you have your dark elves. You have a lot of very cool, very powerful. Everything has stories behind it, just like the lore that we love in AFK Arena. But there are so many things. And here's kind of the Sacred Order, kind of the good guys, the knights and everything. So there are a lot of different factions, a lot of different heroes, including there was He-Man. That's right, He-Man crossover with Skeletor. Very cool. If you're old school like me, He-Man was a cartoon that we absolutely loved to go ahead and run in here. You have Luli Lost, aka Xena Warrior Princess. Yeah, there's a lot in here. Now, Alice, again, was one that I loved. That was very cool to see. And a lot of these going through here, a lot of them will be and are from crossovers, from older crossovers that we've seen through the years. This game does a lot of crossovers. Yeah, Ronda Rousey. I'm not sure if she's Sacred Order. So there's Hansel, which I believe Hansel and Gretel was a crossover again, the witch hunter that they did. And again, I think some of theirs, yeah, because there is Gretel. That's awesome. That is very, very cool. But yeah, I know, I'm not sure. I don't know if they made them epic heroes in here or if they were a little bit higher. Again, I'm not super familiar with all of the factions, all of the heroes, but going through here, you can see there are a few, and I'm working on, there's the Cheshire Cat. Talk about something if you see in Alice in Wonderland, that is the Cheshire Cat from Alice in Wonderland. That is really, really cool looking. But this is one that I'm building right now. So I have fragmented souls for him. So we're building him up. We need 100 souls and we'll be able to have him as a legendary tank, as a demon spawn. Very cool to see kind of how this works. And again, it's the consistent and constant progression towards a common goal. Super excited to be in a clan that is actually, Ninja has a legendary hero of the YouTuber. Oh, they do? Ninja, I heard, is a really good one. A legendary hero. Yeah, there's a few. Again, looking at what I have in here, there's also a lot in here that were special ones or that were some of these that were like limited time. So even when we go in to do the summons, it will show you in here that ones you can't get. The following champions cannot be summoned from sacred or primordials. The following champions cannot be summoned from any shards. So this entire, I mean, you have Skeletor, you have He-Man, we have all of these in here. They cannot be summoned at all anymore. Meaning if you're a player that has been playing Raid, you have the ability, there is Xena Warrior Princess Raid in there, but you have the ability to get these once upon a time. There's Ronda Rousey, but now you cannot get them at all. There's no way to get them, period, short of having played Raid for the last 6 years, gotten them during the events, you cannot get them anymore. So there is not a way to get a lot of these because they are older champions that you can no longer get. You can no longer do summons for. You can no longer get them at all, Dale. So unfortunately, you're not going to be able to get them. But in here, I got to burn through some energy, burn up a little bit more of this content. And of course, going through the keys. This is kind of the big part when you look at arena tokens, focus or fortress tokens. That's what gives you the ability to do in the Altar of Souls, getting all the shards in there. Crypt keys, which are the faction. We have all three of our bosses, our clan bosses. Golden keys is the tower progression. So thinking of, you know, the tower itself, you can see there is a lot when it comes to building this out. And again, this is kind of like the King's Tower going through here and all of these floors. Once you do get through all of this final one, then you can go in the hard mode, do the tower on a much, much harder level. There's secret rooms. There's a couple things along the way. And I want to get into one, the live arena, which we're very close. And then the Cursed City, they said, is another place that is absolutely crazy as we start getting to mid-game, as we start getting a little bit further into Raid, which, again, I really do like it. Said this earlier, but I want to know a game you would love is The Walking Dead. Oh, The Walking Dead All-Stars. I'm going to have to check it out. You know what? Let me make a note, which, funny enough, that, you know what, Dale? I have never watched The Walking Dead. I know I'll probably get crucified for it. But I have never watched The Walking Dead. I haven't watched any of the spinoffs. I haven't watched. So I'm going to be completely unfamiliar with any of the characters in there. I very, very rarely watch TV between YouTube and everything else. Work, the kids. I very rarely watch a lot of TV. It takes me a long time to get through any of the shows, and The Walking Dead is one that I have never watched in its entirety. Still trying to get through the rest of Game of Thrones, but we still have a lot more to do as far as that. So I want to hop over. Market resets every single hour. You can see, buy some stuff in here if you need it. 5-star defense gauntlets, not going to be worth it for lifesteal. If that was crit damage or excuse me, crit rating, I would go ahead and pick that one up. But unfortunately, we're not going to be able to. 4-star legendary gloves. Again, every hour that does reset in its entirety. But yeah, I'm definitely, I'll look it up. I'll check it out, Dale, and see what it's all about. So I'm going to have to go through here, like I said, finish out the dailies, rolling into the weeklies, rolling into the monthlies. So all 3 of these are going to be done today, as well as the advanced. We've been finishing this out every single day, going through here and really just farming, trying to get the energy, which of course is the lifeblood when it comes to raid itself. Carbon copy of AFK Arena, but with better events. Every hero on The Walking Dead is a carbon copy of another hero from AFK Arena. It seems like we see that a lot. I know, Dale, we do see that a lot, where it is kind of the crossover or very similar content across a bunch of different games. This, like I said, it's been a lot of fun to play. We're a month in of a game that's been out for 6 years now, 6+ years. It's pretty cool to see the depth. It's very fun. Honestly, for me, playing completely free to play, I like coming in here, not, having any monetary obligation. If I walk away from raid, that's it. I just walk away from raid. This is on my second channel, and I'm sure you guys are watching probably on the Furry Hippo Gaming, but this is on the second channel, and this is what we share as we're going through and building up the base, just based on raid, similar to what we did with AFK Arena 6 years ago. Building up the player base, having a lot of fun in here, starting to learn all the in and outs of really fine-tuning all of these champions, getting the gear where we need it to be, just based on kind of the builds, getting masteries, making a lot more progression to be a little bit more competitive. So, all right, guys, so that is going to do it for today's live stream. Thank you guys for joining me. It's always fun to be able to chat with you guys about raid or AFK Arena. It is awesome to see, but definitely wanted to hop on, wanted to show you exactly what we're experiencing over here. I've gotten a lot of questions over on both sections, really about raid and what is going on over here. So definitely wanted to showcase it. That way, if you want to join, you got all the links, you have everything down. So make sure that you're getting your free champions within raid. It is a game changer. If you start without them, it is going to be a very, very hard, strong struggle, starting without some really solid champions, which is the reason why we have all the promo codes in there. Make sure you use them. So guys, again, that's going to do it for today's stream for raid. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always,